All right, the morning after, the night before, gives us a bit of a chance to reflect on what happened last night in the Fabio Wardley Justice Huni fight. It's weird because I kind of, well, I got the result I expected in a sense of Fabio Wardley getting the win by knockout. I kind of, I guess it's what your perception is, but I predicted that Justice Huni would be tricky and awkward early on, and he was. I just didn't expect him to be able to carry that on the way he did and beat Fabio Wardley up. That was a bit of a surprise, well, a big surprise to say the least, because, you know, the reaction I did last night, the live reaction I did, that was just, honestly, that was a good reaction. I have to say so myself, because it was just such a shock. It was just so against the run of play. And it was crazy. It really was. And I think the purpose of this video is to talk about both guys, essentially what we can, essentially where the hell we can go from here. I didn't see the interview yet, but I seen the title. I think it might have been either with Queensbury or Box Nation. It was one or the other, and it was Ben Davis that he was mentioning Joe Parker and Ajay Kabayel for Fabio Wardley. Hell no, not after that. Hell no, don't be. That's like whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want to say, because I don't want to sound disrespectful to Fabio Wardley, because I quite like Fabio Wardley, and I don't want to say he got lucky, because is there any really luck involved? Guy made a mistake, you threw a shot at the right time, you intended it to land, and there you go. Just as Huni made catastrophic mistakes. He came in reckless. He launched in with a shot. He kept his head on center line, and boom, he got hit with a right hand by a big puncher. So big mistake by him. And Fabio Wardley, he had the skill and everything to land it. So there's no luck involved in that. But he did get lucky because he was taking a shellacking in there. He absolutely was, and to pull it out of the bag like that, it's a testament to him. It really is. Those two guys, Caballel and Parker, they're not right now. I think that fight told me two things. One about Fabio Wardley, and second about Justice Huni. Justice Huni was someone who I'd seen since the start of his pro career. He turned pro about 4 years ago. And looked okay. He just looked okay. And against Kevin Lorena, he didn't look good. And then they brought the levels down, which to me was an indication that, okay, they're going to try and work on things. Well, obviously they did work on things, because Justice Huni looked better than I ever seen him before. And although he lost, and I'm sure, you've seen him in the post-fight interviews with his family, with his loved ones, and he was saying stuff happens, and stronger word than that, but you know what I mean. He didn't appear dejected or anything like that. And I think that although it's not nice when you lose like that, especially a fight that you've been winning handily, your stock in defeat like that raises. And just as Hooney's stock has gone through the roof, it absolutely has. It's absolutely gone through the roof in that. He showed me that he has levels to his game that I truthfully didn't think he has. The counter punching, the accuracy, the jab, everything. Even to an extent stamina, because he didn't look fatigued in there. He did slow down a little bit as the fight progressed, but to be expected, it happens. But he looked a lot fitter than Fabio Wardley did at points in that fight. So absolute credit to him. His stock raises massively, even in defeat. Even in defeat, you look at Justice Huni and you think, oh, he's going to be a problem for these guys at world level. Certainly with that style and the counter punch and everything. So I can't give him any more praise, because I don't mean that about it, because the praise is just immense. It really is for Justice Huni. Fabio Wardley, I see a lot of people saying he was overrated. Well, overrated to what extent? Did we think he would go on to world honours and be an Alexander Usyk of the division? I certainly never seen that. I was very skeptical about Fabio Wardley for a large part of his career, given the fact, again, it showed in here, the lack of the no amateur experience, the 4 white-collar bouts, and then taking your pro career. It really did show. And it showed when he was in there against a good operator, the mistakes he was making. I mean, as I said in the post-fight review, you're talking about Justice Huni, a very good amateur, elite-level amateur, the most basic thing of just keeping your guard up high. And Fabio Wardley couldn't do that. He had his guard down low, and shock horror, he's getting hit, he's getting peppered and lit up like a Christmas tree. I mean, I wonder why. But Wardley, again, to the people who are saying he's overrated to what end? Like, again, if you thought he was going to go on to clear out the division, I certainly didn't see that coming. Do I think he can potentially win a world title? I did. I still do, but he needs more work. It's as simple as that. This right here was his get out of jail free card. It really was. And saying that, he did still take a beating in there against the guy who didn't have the punching power to knock him out. So he took a lot of clean headshots. They're taxing. Like that fight right there, even in victory, was taxing to Fabio Wardley. Make no mistake about it. It's taken a couple of years off his career, that fight, in my opinion, definitely. He's hit loads in there. So, for me, Fabio Wardley, we need to rein him back in. He's interim champion with the WBA now. I believe that puts him in line to challenge for the regular belt, which is going to be contested between Michael Hunter and Kubrat Pulev probably sometime this summer. Now, I actually think that that's a realistic next step for him, because you look at someone like a Kubrat Pulev, he's even probably more awkward and wily and just negative than, just he's not negative, but he certainly is. Kubrat Pulev, he's always been a bit negative, but I think he's at a stage now where he's there for the taking. I really do. So if he wins, then he's there for the taking. Michael Hunter is a bit of a trickier one, because Michael Hunter is, on his day, way more talented than Justice Huni and Fabio Wardley on his day. I think that day is past. So I think with Michael Hunter, you might be in there with someone who you have a chance with. A good chance. If we're talking about the Michael Hunter who was fighting 2018, 2019, he probably stops Fabio Wardley, because he's a bigger puncher, in my opinion, than Justice Huni. He probably stops Fabio Wardley. But right now, we definitely don't have that Michael Hunter, I don't think. I certainly don't think. Will we ever get him back? I don't know. I doubt it. That's the road I go down if you were looking to manage Fabio Wardley. I would give him a run out though. I think we'd need to see where his head is at after this fight, and where he's at physically as well as mentally. So I would give him a run out again, but I wouldn't give him a cream puff. Put it like that. I wouldn't be giving him, a little, piece of meat that he can just, gobble up and there you go. I wouldn't give him that. He needs to fight at somewhat of a decent level. But I would be looking at maybe the likes of a top 40, top 30, thereabouts heavyweight. Someone who could be on his day awkward and give him some rounds, but he's not gonna be, because I want to see the after effect of this fight. Because if you think about it like this, the guy who lost, he got knocked out with one punch. And yes, I did see replays of the count. It did look fast to me, because they panned away on the actual live feed, which I don't agree with, to Frank Warner and all that. It was a very fast count. So I seen a proper count of it there this morning, and I was like, oh, yeah, that was a little bit sus. I still do think had he had been given a proper count and let carry on, it would have ended in knockout anyway. But at the end of the day, that's my opinion. We don't know that. So at the end of the day, you got to go with that. But yeah, I would get Fabio Wardley out again, see where he's at. As I said, he won this fight, but he was getting checked by the doctor, as too was Justice Huni. But a one-punch knockout is not as bad. Justice Huni in defeat took less damage than Fabio Wardley did in victory, because he only got hit with one shot, bang on the chin, it was out, boom, you're done. Fabio Wardley was hit with so many clean shots, it was crazy. So for both guys, there's a lot of good to come. But yes, there's a lot of questions for both guys need to be asked. How good is Justice Huni's chin? How is he going to be after that knockout defeat? What level can we get into? Is he now in the Who Needs Him club? Because he's not really going to bring much fanfare, because Portman Road looked good, but it would have been better if it was Jarrell Miller. It's just a fact. He's going to probably fall into the Who Needs Him club. Kind of one of them, kind of like not in the same extent as Martin Bacoli, but kind of a bit like that at one stage, where it's like, he doesn't bring much money, he's awkward, who needs him? He's not going to sell the fight. I hope that doesn't happen. Fabio Wardley, people are going to be looking, clamoring, chomping at the bit to get to him. Like, as I said, Ben Davison mentioned, apparently, Caballero and Parker. You're Caballero and Parker, you were like, give me him now. Give me that guy now. Bring all that fanfare, bring some money, big payday, knock him out, boom, done, happy days. They will be chomping at the bit to fight him, as well as other heavyweights. So, a lot of interesting things came from last night. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll leave it there. We'll talk about this more maybe on Review of the Week. Well, I'll record it this evening and I'll upload it tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts anyway. I hope you enjoyed the video. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And until next time.